How's it going? I'm Pete. I'm a woodworker. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I love wood. Let's go. So for today's video, for my very first YouTube video on this channel, I'm going to show you guys the first hand tools that I bought for my new shop space. Recently moved to Massachusetts. I'm working out of a basement. It's a long story. We'll get into it later. Today, I'm going to show you the process that I take when I get new hand planes. Spoiler alert, that was the first tool that I got for the new shop. I'm going to show you exactly the process that I went through with this one. You can see now it looks all shiny and new. Didn't look that way before, so I'll show you exactly what I did, the process that I took, and how I got it cleaned up, ready for use. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so I've moved out to the garage where there's a little benchtop surface for me to work on. Anytime you're doing this, I definitely recommend you lay down some cardboard or something to soak up the juices, because we're going to be working with some pretty nasty stuff. You get that on your benchtop, it's just going to ruin it, cause stains, the whole 9 yards. You don't want to deal with that. Stuff we're going to need for this: WD-40, that's the main thing. Steel wool, I have 4/0 here, but really I think any size, any grade of it is going to work just fine. I grabbed some mineral spirits just in case there's any sort of gunk or something on some of the planes. It just takes it off real quick and easy. A couple rags to wipe things down, a couple sanding sheets. I use 220 for this, but I probably wouldn't go much lower than 220. I think that's probably a bad idea. And a screwdriver, take everything apart. So I'm going to go one plane at a time. Probably start with the number 4 just to show you, because it's a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to work with, you know. I always recommend you get comfy when you're doing something like this. Anytime you're doing extended work for, you know, a long period of time, I always just say sit down. It just makes it so much easier. All right, so now that we got this thing all like cleaned up, we just got most of the gunk off of it. I don't really want to go too hard on everything, but you know, this part here really needs to be flat on the top, the face of the frog, because that's where the blade lays in. And then these parts here and here, these machined parts, you can see the tool marks are still there. Those really need to be flat and free of any gunk or debris or anything, because that's where this makes contact. So I'm gonna put this thing back together, and we will then move on to flattening the sole here. I think I'm gonna clean up the sides a little bit too. I may not flatten them the same way that I flattened this, but I do want, you know, that's kind of gross. I don't really want to look at that every time I use it. Yeah. Yeah, wow, that is so much better than before. I thought I was going to be able to take care of most of that with the steel wool, but it was just going to take way too long. So I went for it with the 220. It came out pretty good. All right, so now we come to the all-important flattening the bottom of the plane. For that, you really need a flat surface, flat piece of wood, and you need to adhere a couple strips of sandpaper to it. All right, so I got this thing pretty damn flat, you know. You could see obviously where the sander, completely flatten the front, completely flatten the back. We got a lot of flatness along the sides here and everything. And right up to the mouth of the plane is nice and perfectly flat. Got a little bit of a divot here, which it's taken me a long time to even get to this point. But you can see, you know, some of the leftover patina on there, which, you know, is not perfect, but for my purposes, I think this is going to be fine. Ultimately, if you go and you test a plane and you find that it's working fine, then it really doesn't need to be any flatter than that. That's, you know, that's what I think. So I will finish tuning this up, see how it comes out, and then if it needs any more flattening, I'll take care of that. But for the time being, that's pretty good. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to strip this crappy old finish off of these handles. Look at that. Just falling apart anyways. So let's take that off. Let's renew it, make it look real nice. All right. So I got these pieces cleaned up, free of all the gunky sort of junk all up on it. The debris left a little bit of residue on there, but when you wet it down, it all goes away. So I think I'm just going to put some Danish oil on this, just really bring out the natural vibrance of the wood, and call it a day. All right, handles are oiled up. They look way better than before, so I'm happy I did that. Another thing that I often do with hand planes is I just take a file down this edge, because this edge will get sharp when you've sanded this side and this side. It comes together at a perfect point. So you don't want that to be cutting into any of the work that you're doing. So what I'm going to do is just file it down at like a 45-degree angle, just to make sure that it's nice and smooth. It's not going to cause any issues when I'm planing. All right, guys, so I basically wrapped up this plane. I'm really pretty happy with how it came out. Everything looks shiny and new. The handles feel really great in the hand, as opposed to the that sort of plasticky kind of nasty feel that they had before. I got the bottom relatively flat. We'll see how it goes. I need to sharpen the blade and everything still, so it's not going to work too well at the moment. But in terms of just general condition, I'm really happy with this, and I think it's gonna stay looking nice for a while. So I will probably do a whole video just on the blades, and because this video's just gotten really, really long. So I'll just do a video on like sharpening the blades and how I go about that process, potentially another time. So yeah, I think that's about it for today. Thanks, guys. Tune in for the next one.